My name is Alex Thompson, and my house had always been my refuge. A quiet suburban place tucked neatly inside a neighborhood ruled by the ever-watchful Homeowners Association. For years, everything here followed a comfortable rhythm. It was calm, orderly, almost storybook perfect. I took pride in my modest garden, the ancient oak towering in my backyard, and the privacy my property granted me. I believed I was safe within those boundaries. I had no idea that calm was about to fracture, not because of storm or fire, but because of a bureaucratic decision that would spiral into something far darker than I could have imagined. It began with a single envelope mixed in with advertisements and utility bills. A stiff, formal notice bearing the HOA's emblem. I read it once. Then again, a knot tightened in my stomach as the meaning sank in. The letter informed me that my property, specifically my front lawn and backyard, had been reserved for the annual community wedding scheduled for October 27th. Reserved. My house. For a wedding. Without my consent. My thoughts raced. This had to be some outrageous clerical mistake. I called the HOA office immediately, my voice trembling between disbelief and anger. The woman who answered, Ms. Albright, was calm to the point of cruelty. Mr. Thompson, she said in a flat, rehearsed tone, the bylaws grant the HOA authority to use common areas and, under certain circumstances, private property for community functions. This was approved weeks ago. Weeks ago. No notification. No discussion. Just a decree. The days that followed were a blur of futile arguments. I cited property rights, privacy protections, and simple decency. Ms. Albright responded with obscure bylaw provisions, dense legal phrasing, and subtle threats of fine should I interfere. My neighbors offered apologetic looks but kept their distance, unwilling to challenge the HOA themselves. The helplessness was suffocating. My sanctuary was being commandeered, and I was powerless to stop it. Then the trucks arrived. They rolled in early one morning, delivery vans carrying tents, folding chairs, floor displays, catering equipment. Workers unloaded everything onto my lawn as if it already belonged to someone else. My yard transformed before my eyes into a public venue, a backdrop for strangers' celebration. I watched from inside, feeling like a prisoner confined in my own living room. The wedding day dawned crisp and bright, the kind of autumn morning I would normally cherish. But nothing about it felt right. My backyard, once a quiet retreat, buzzed with white fabric, clinking glasses and hollow laughter. Music floated through the air. Guests mingled beneath my oak tree, now wrapped in delicate fairy lights. I stood at my kitchen window, silent and burning with resentment. The bride, glowing in white, walked across an aisle laid carefully over my grass. The groom waited beneath the oak, smiling as though the world belonged to him. It was picturesque, perfect for them, a nightmare for me. As the ceremony unfolded, something strange caught my attention. Beneath the altar, where they exchanged vows, the earth looked different, a faint shimmer, a subtle discoloration, like a bruise spreading beneath skin. I blinked, unsure if it was stress or shifting sunlight. I dismissed it. By dusk, the guests drifted away, leaving behind confetti, paper plates, and silence. Crews dismantled the decorations, but the scent of lilies and cheap champagne lingered. I stepped outside to survey the damage. My lawn was flattened, the driveway scarred by tire marks. Yet my eyes returned to that spot beneath the oak. The discoloration had intensified. A circular patch of ground, nearly 10 feet wide, glowed a sickly pale green in the fading light. It wasn't just stained. It looked altered, softer, almost breathing. When I pressed it gently with my foot, it gave way with an unnatural sponginess. Over the following days, the patch grew. The green spread slowly at first, then steadily, devouring healthy grass. In its place emerged a strange moss-like layer that seemed to pulse faintly. The soil beneath darkened and softened, becoming a thick, viscous sludge with a faint sheen. A scent rose from it, sweet yet metallic, like decaying flowers mixed with iron. I tried to rationalize it. Fertilizer reaction, fungal bloom, chemical runoff from the event. But in my gut, I knew better. I called the HOA again, explaining what I was seeing. Ms. Albright dismissed it as exaggerated post-event frustration and suggested hiring a landscaping service. The ground continued to change. Small bubbles formed in the sludge, rising slowly before bursting into shimmering droplets that evaporated into a faint residue. The metallic sweetness in the air intensified, becoming strangely intoxicating and deeply wrong. Sleep abandoned me. I dreamed of sinking into the earth, of roots wrapping around my limbs and dragging me down. I avoided stepping outside, but from my window I could see the patch expanding, creeping outward like a living stain. One night, I heard it, a low, rhythmic thump. I crept toward the window, heart pounding. The ground wasn't merely bubbling. It was moving, expanding and contracting in slow, deliberate pulses, like a massive lung hidden beneath the soil. Vein-like patterns spread across the mossy surface, glowing faintly with a sick green light. That was the moment I understood. This was not natural decay. Something had been awakened. Perhaps the flood of emotion, the joy, the intrusion, the violation, had fed it. The earth itself had shifted, no longer inert but animate. It was alive, and it was growing. I tried warning my neighbors, but they looked at me with polite concern, whispering about stress. The HOA ignored my calls. They had claimed my property for a celebration, and in doing so they had stirred something ancient and hungry. The spreading mass reached my patio, then edged toward the foundation of my house. The air grew thick with that metallic sweetness. A low hum vibrated beneath the floorboards. I could feel it watching, an awareness beneath my feet. It waited. It absorbed. It expanded. I was alone, standing guard against an encroaching, unnatural garden. The wedding had been a seed planted by arrogance, and now something monstrous was blooming in its wake. And I, Alex Thompson, was its first unwilling witness, slowly being consumed by the very earth I once called home.